A new device in the works that could potentially make deodorant obsolete. An unknown large spherical object fell from the sky in the USE-4B, also known as the Doomsday plane, has taken flight. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to some of the strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Something weird happened overnight. What appears to be this gigantic concrete ball literally fell out of the sky, landed on a street in a neighborhood in Indianapolis. And luckily it didn't hit anyone, it didn't damage cars, houses, nothing. It landed on the street. But the question remains is, where did this come from and whose is it? It's definitely man-made. But what was it doing in the sky? It almost makes you question a lot. And it really does make you question a lot of our conspiracy theories that are out there. Take a look at this, comment below, and if this was in your neighborhood, let us know what happened.
So this thing fell in a neighborhood last night. Luckily it missed all the houses and cars and people. Everyone was safe. Does anyone know what it is?
I'm not too certain if it really fell from the sky. If it did, it must not be very heavy because the ground doesn't look damaged, at least from what I could see. And in the comments, there are some people that are saying that it's an Air Force radar dome, that it's an artificial moon. If anyone has any idea what that is, please leave a comment because there's some wild comments going on here on TikTok. The rest of that video is just literally the fire rolling, so I just ended it there. Luckily it was just a test, and no one actually got injured out of it. That guy is extremely lucky. He's definitely going to be feeling that in the morning for sure, but it could have been way worse. And he could have also dragged along other people in the situation too. Jeez, oh Pete's, it's just not worth not paying attention. You really shouldn't be that close to a train in the first place. And that place is packed.
Scientists have invented an electronic armpit device that uses plasma to make deodorant obsolete. And yes, you heard that correctly. In case you didn't like deodorant because it was sticky or gave you a rash or clogged your pores, you can now use this brand new Pladeo device, or plasma deodorant device, to use plasma to blast away all of your body odor, which is absolutely wild to me. Now, initially I thought plasma like in fusion, plasma like in the sun, plasma like in the Halo plasma rifle. No, what they're talking about is cold or atmospheric temperature plasma, and we've been using this for a long time to help wound changing and clear out bacteria and stuff. We're going to get to how the device works. So in case you didn't know, your body odor is caused by the volatile organic compounds produced by bacteria as they break down or feed on the fatty acids in your sweat. And deodorant typically is designed to mask that or prevent the sweating. What this new device does is prevents the stink without the use of deodorant by killing those bacteria with plasma. Pressing and holding the button on the device causes the Pladeo to start producing ionized gas, namely cold atmospheric plasma, for about a minute and a half. And should the user be prone to stinky armpits, they can boost the time to 3 minutes by pressing the button twice. But what this produces is reactive oxygen species. Even though they're called species, they're just molecules or compounds that kill the odor-causing bacteria, like these that I'm not even going to try to pronounce right here on the screen, and that by killing the bacteria that break down the fat in the sweat, well, you're not going to be making those volatile organic compounds that make things stink. The scientists that make this believe that it will keep you odor-free throughout the day, but you can do it more than once if necessary. They did a test on this with, 33 test subjects. 94% of the participants reported a significant reduction or complete elimination of body odor while using the Pladeo, and it'll be on sale soon. You can see the advertisement here or elsewhere in the video. But the thing that's weird about this to me, and I'm a little bit concerned, is that if we're putting ionized particles on our skin to kill the bacteria that's there, I'm worried we're going to be killing the healthy skin bacteria too, because even though it might stink, even though it might not be in vogue right now to have bacteria, your body needs a certain amount of bacteria both inside and outside to maintain homeostasis and balance with itself. So I'm a little bit worried that arbitrarily killing large classes of bacteria could have unintended health consequences.
I can imagine a future where you have this machine that basically looks like a shower unit that you step in, and then it just 360 rotates you like a microwave, and the next thing you know, you just come out with no scent whatsoever. I definitely see something like that happening. And honestly, I'm curious to see what the long-term side effects of using a device like this will be. I also do not think that it's going to be good for even your healthy skin, but we'll see. It's nothing that I'm personally interested in. I have no problem with deodorant, but I'm sure that there will be some people that purchase this $250 object. Let me know in the comments, would you be one of the people that would actually invest into something like this? Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. And I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel.
Something big just happened, because this only takes off when we're all cooked. There's a lot going on right now, but if you are worried about World War III, watch this video right now and share it with someone. Because trust me, you and everybody needs to see this. So I've spoken a few times about this, the Doomsday plane, which yes, took off yesterday. Everybody's freaking out online, the headlines all say, oh, the Doomsday plane has taken off, guys, we are cooked. I'm sure you all know what the Doomsday plane is. Obviously, it's not good. You can control everything from the skies. It can be refueled in the skies. But what some of you don't know is this actually does fly, like, normally once a year on routine tests. And yeah, they might be using it for other reasons, but oh well. Now, the main thing, obviously, is the situation in the Middle East is escalating, and it is getting scarier, I won't deny. We now have Trump, who has approved Iran attack plans, but hasn't made his decision on if they're going to get involved or not, so I'll keep you posted. But of course, the headlines everywhere, the media outlets, everyone's saying World War III is coming. This is going to cause World War III. But it is not. I don't think World War III is ever going to happen, and do you want to know why? These people right here. The richest people on Earth and the people above that, you know, everybody who is like the top of the top. We know these people will do anything to keep their money. They want to be the upper class, of course. If World War III broke out and people were firing nukes everywhere, it would be mutually assured destruction, which just means the whole Earth essentially is blown to smithereens. So what the hell would be the point in that? Because these people would be gone, and if they weren't gone, they wouldn't be upper class anymore because no one would be alive. Even if they had some ultra bunker which they survived in, wiped out 95% of the Earth, came out, their money doesn't mean anything. Not at all, because there won't be anything on Earth. There's always going to be wars and conflicts, but the fact now that everybody has nuclear weapons is scary and a threat, but it's highly unlikely anything major is going to happen worldwide with it. And as terrible as these conflicts in the Middle East and worldwide are, I don't think it will go completely global at this stage. But it's still scary times. The US and other countries could get involved in this war. It is escalating, but don't worry about full-blown World War III with nukes flying everywhere. And as always, I will keep you updated.
I definitely believe that a World War III could still happen in today's age. Whether you have rich people or not, it still could happen. And nukes do not have to get involved for the World War. It does not have anything to do with nukes. Now, nukes could be involved, but it does not have anything to do with nukes necessarily. But overall, it's a shame on what's happening in the world right now. And at this point, only time is going to tell, so we'll see.
An anti-gravity beam took me up through a hole in the bottom of it.
You're telling me at 2 o'clock in the morning in Giant Rock Airport, you walked underneath this hovering ship, and whammo, you went up
No,
inside.
you didn't go whammo. You went just about as slow as a local elevator run.
And when you got off the anti-gravity elevator, what did it look like?
I was inside of a ship about 18 feet in diameter and roughly 10 feet high to the domed ceiling, and there were 3 men on the ship, besides the one that had got off and invited me aboard.
You keep calling them man. What do you mean, man?
Well,
Little green man?
they were about 5'6". They came about to my eyebrows, and they could have walked in our clothes down any of our streets, and we wouldn't have paid any attention to them.
And did you bring any proof off that ship? Were you alone in the ship?
I was alone with the 3 men until the other fellow came up behind me, and then the 4 of them were aboard.
Were there any other earthly eyewitnesses to this?
Nothing, only outside of the ship.
And these people stayed outside?
On the airport.
And did you go anywhere in this ship?
Not to my knowledge. When I got off, it was the same place it was when I got on.
Well, what do you mean, not to your knowledge? Had the door closed when you went in or something?
I don't know, because it was below the deck.
And did these people tell you where they came from?
They didn't say where they came from, but I've been in the air game since 1927, and their instruments were unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
Well, don't give me technicalities. What was different?
The difference was that we used dial instruments, and they used vertical instruments, like fluorescent tubes with marks on them.
What color were these people?
The instruments were marked in symbols similar to hieroglyphics. They were not in any language or number system we use on the Earth.
What color were these people?
They looked like they were white people with a good, healthy tan.
Did they give you any indication of how old they were, or what they ate, or where they came from at all?
After we got off the ship, the man who invited me aboard, who didn't look a day over 28 years of age, told me that he was over 700 years of age in our time.
I've never heard of this video before, so this was actually a new one to me, and it was pretty fascinating. And I like how he described the aliens, I guess, as 5'6" white men with a healthy tan. That was a new one to me.
Is Billy Carson the man that spoke too much? Yesterday, I was shocked when I saw his new video, and it looked nothing like him. And I'm like, this seems to be like some Kanye situation. We all know that when someone gets too close to the truth, they don't silence him anymore. They replace him. This is an image from an older video. As you can see, a little bit older than me. He has his wrinkles, his fine lines, perfectly balanced for his age. His teeth are raw and real, lots of things. Notice the small details. This was Billy Carson, the researcher, the author, the speaker, a man diving into the forbidden vaults of hidden history. He talks about extraterrestrial intervention. I've been called the female Billy Carson, basically. He made you question everything, religion, government, even reality itself. And when I first started, he was an inspiration for me. I'm like, oh, we can achieve it. He has done it. So let's smash cut to present day Billy Carson, which is this image. And when compared to the old him and new him, something is off. In the newer photos, his skin is taut. His eyes seem unfamiliar. His tone, robotic. It's robotic, polished, almost too smooth. He used to be very passionate, and sometimes the voice would raise and go higher and lower based on his emotions. So when I look at this, all I can think of is, did they replace him? So right after his divorce, and don't even get me started how I've always said that his wife seemed to me as if she was his handler. When he spoke, she wasn't his companion. She would tell him what he could or couldn't say. It was just weird. Now that he divorced because he was saying too much, the handler couldn't handle him anymore. Were there too many veils pulled back? So the ex-wife wasn't just a partner, she was a handler. Once she was out of the picture, installed the new version, Billy Carson 2.0. Where's the OG Billy Carson? I wrote an article yesterday on my Facebook about this because Billy Carson's transformation raises my eyebrows. The usual questions: has Billy Carson been cloned? Is it a doppelganger? Is it a double? Just think of this. He used to talk about spiritual sovereignty, and now he's talking about crypto. He's talking about politics. There is no more spiritual light in his conversations and topics. It's almost as if they uploaded a brand and forgot the soul. You know what I mean? Since we do the same kind of content and research, the moment I see that he's not him and doesn't look like him, yes, I'm going to say something. I'd wish and hope that someone would do the same for me. They're just telling us that, oh no, it's probably plastic surgery, the evolution of it. It looks so good. But what if it's not? They can copy your face, but they can't copy your mind. And when they are making doubles, the doubles are never the age of anyone over 40. Like the maximum you're going to see a double is 30, at the most 35 years old. And this is what I'm seeing. So ask yourself, are you watching the real Billy Carson? or just a shell or double of who once was.
I don't think Billy Carson has been cloned or anything like that. I think that he's changed his direction on how he's doing entertainment because of that one video where he sat down and was talking to that one religious guy, and it just made it sound like he didn't know what he was talking about. I think after that he had to take a step back and reevaluate how he does his entertainment. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas of what it could be. But me personally, if you're lying about certain things that you've done, or if you can't back up what you're talking about, it's going to weigh you down. It's going to stress you out. It would probably make you look older because of the stress. And also, he looks passionate about what he's talking about because he's so defensive. And that defense makes it seem like he's passionate, at least to me. But again, let me know what you guys think about Billy Carson. What do you guys think about his recent transition in appearance? Because I'm not gonna lie, he does look different, but I think that that's just because he's not talking about what he used to talk about so aggressively. He is changing his tactics to other things that are probably more in his realm, and he's not as stressed. If I was to guess, that's probably the reason why he looks different. I know there's a good deal of people out there that does not like Billy Carson, and I personally don't mind him. I like some of the stuff that he talks about. Not necessarily crypto or anything. I like listening to him talk about the Emerald Tablets.
Breaking news, nearly 800 infant remains were just found inside of a septic tank. Excavation began this week in Tuam, Ireland, under a former church-run home for unwed mothers run by Catholic nuns. The infant remains were dumped in a septic tank known as the Pit, and in total, 798 children died at the home between 1925 and its closure in 1961, with only 2 of them being buried properly. The home was known as Bon Secours, and it was a place where unmarried pregnant women would be sent to give birth to children of sin and then be interned for a year to do unpaid work. The women were immediately separated from their newborn children, who were considered disgraces and would be raised by nuns, where they were neglected and malnourished to the point where most of them lost their lives. And it didn't matter if the women were victims or SA, they were all considered fallen women and needed to face the consequences, and all of this was quietly supported by the state. This was all uncovered by this woman, Kathleen Corliss, a local historian in Tuam who spent years combing through death certificates and church records and was ignored and publicly shamed until now. It's expected to take up to 2 years to identify the remains, but rest in peace to those poor children who were just born, and prayers to their mothers and their families. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
Wow, that is awful. I mean, I'm glad that their bodies have at least been discovered so that they could be properly put to rest. But overall, that whole history is just messed up.
Quick question. What do you see? Do you see what I see? Look closer. This is a still frame from the infamous Jellyfish UAP video, and when you zoom in, some people say they see a gray alien. What you're seeing, though, might be something called pareidolia, a trick of the brain where we recognize patterns, especially faces, when they're not really there. We evolved this way for a reason, but what happens when that instinct meets something unexplained? Our brain has a tendency to try to make sense of it. So, are we seeing what we want to see in this case? Perhaps. So check out some of this footage that has some diffusion on it, as well as some tracking, and it's next to the original. I mean, whatever it is strange. Is it just some balloons and our brains trying to make sense of it? Or is it actually something real hiding in plain sight? Let me know in the comments. Gray alien or pareidolia?
I've never seen a zoom in of this photo before, but it looks like a little alien just holding his hand up on the glass. I'm certain that it's pareidolia, but that actually was pretty neat to see. Because what if that was actually just a little alien just floating around? Though I'm certain it's balloons, but dang, that's actually a good one. People will really go to the limits to find anything anywhere.
Are we living in a simulation? 50-50. It's harder to prove than you think because, for one, your brain is dependent on your senses for input data to determine reality. You might be thinking, nah, I would know, but you wouldn't. How you experience the world comes from input data from your senses. The brain itself doesn't see, hear, or feel. It's receiving that data from electrical impulses to interpret that data so that you can have an experience. And that data can be turned off. Someone who's blind doesn't see darkness. They don't see at all. It would be like seeing out of your knee. There's just no input data. What if we have another sense that's just not turned on for this program. Our current technology dealing with virtual reality is pretty crude, but even this isn't that hard to trick you into throwing your hands out because you think you're going to fall. This being a simulation could explain why we can't travel faster than the speed of light. Maybe it's just the max of this system. Or the Mandela effect, where a large group of people remember the same wrong information. How is this not the right one? We couldn't really prove this was a simulation unless we left it. And even then, how do we know that's the last layer? This is how I try to fall asleep at night.
China, they're on it's called the dark side of the moon, which basically means it's the side of the moon that we can't observe from Earth, from India and China. But China, they've been collecting samples already and sending it to Earth, but they found this brand new material, chungastite. And it's this clear crystal and it's colorless, but it contains this element called helium-3 that it's produced by the sun. So the sun produces it, and since the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, it just has been collecting on the moon. But it's this element, you can use it to create unlimited, clean, radiation-free energy.
Oh, so they're gonna be mining the moon now.
They're gonna be mining the moon. China's like, they're ahead of the game. We were talking about like mining the ocean floor. Probably shouldn't be mining the moon either.
No.
I mean, that could be the start of the next war.
Besides helium-3, the composite material, like the soil, the rocks and stuff, it's the same material that we have on Earth. So it's like made up of the same elements and stuff.
Except for this helium-3.
Yeah, because there's no atmosphere, so the sun can put helium-3 there. But it's basically like a part of the Earth. What if the hollow Earth is just God took out the center of the Earth and made it the moon?
That's a fun theory.
It's not a theory, it's a fact.
This is the creepy moment a nebulous figure that is, as if it were a shadow, transparent, translucent, but with a strong point of aura visible around its head. Watch this.
Honestly, that just looks like a person walking across the road with something reflecting on them. The movement is a little odd, but I just think that might be the frame rate of the camera. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. And with that being said, have a good day.